why you should buy Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition on the Switch 2. All today on TNT Big Show. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Michelle Nantucket.
And this is Sean.
Let's get right to it, and hey, if you want to see more of you who watch our videos, subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button, it's free, and ring the notification bell. Okay, now here we go. Now, whatever games you want to pre-order for the Switch 2 is up to you. But I recommend Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition on the Nintendo Switch 2. And people are like, didn't you trash that game when it came out? Yeah. However, things have changed. In the last 3 years, the game has undergone major changes to gameplay and fixed bugs and glitches and everything. Now the game is a lot better than when it first came out. CD Projekt Red, please next time just delay the game.
Yeah.
Don't do that. A lot of people got the wrong impression about Cyberpunk. Now it's a completely different game. But the most important thing is, Cyberpunk 2077 is a 60 gigabyte game for the Switch 2 on one cartridge with no download needed. That is awesome.
And real quick, I just want to throw in a side item here. That, not just Cyberpunk, the games from Marvelous, Rune Factory, Guardians of the Azuma, Story of Seasons, Grand Bazaar, and Daemon X Machina, Titanic Scion are also all fully physical games on the card.
Yep.
So don't think that all third parties are going to ditch the physical one.
Right.
Yeah, Nintendo's of course going to be physical, but there are some third parties that will still do physical.
Get this, you are getting the full game of Cyberpunk 2077 plus the DLC.
On one cartridge.
Yeah, for $70, which when you go to Steam, hey, this is on Steam. The Ultimate Edition is $82.
Yep.
The Xbox Game Store, it's $80.
Yep.
And the PlayStation 5 shop, it's $72, $73. On the Switch 2, it's $69.
Oh, exactly.
And they put the whole dang game in there without a download.
Yeah, because Michelle and I are physical media people.
Yeah.
We just are. Movies, music, books, magazines, and video games. You know, we are physical people. And the unfortunate thing is, we're going to have to buy GameKey card games.
Yeah.
We're going to have to. I don't like it, but if we want that game, we either do without it or we buy it.
Yeah, that sucks. But that's why, hopefully, we can get a Switch 2 soon, whenever we can. But the fact is that I am going to get the Mario Kart World Bundle. I'll get the physical copy later. I'm also going to get Cyberpunk 2077. Hopefully, I'll like it. I'll give it a chance. The fact is, I am doing that to reward CD Projekt Red.
Yes.
That is unbelievable. That is great because they put that all on one cartridge with no downloads because you have big downloads to do on Cyberpunk on the PS5 and Xbox versions, even though they're physical.
And I'm going to get Story of Seasons because it's on the Marvelous. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. I know CD Projekt Red had The Witcher 3, which sold over 50 million units, and now Cyberpunk's at 40 million. But overall, though, they're not a huge company.
Neither is Marvelous.
No. And yet Capcom, who is worth 5 times more than CD Projekt Red and a lot more than Marvelous, only used the key card.
And this is not for Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
Which, in a sense of a way, I wouldn't like it, but you can understand that in a way. A 2D fighting game, there's no call for it.
Right.
None.
I totally agree with that 1,000,000,000%.
Default.
Yeah.
Come on.
Especially that one.
Yeah, come on.
That one just makes no sense at all by Square Enix.
But even the survival kits from Konami.
Yeah.
That should have been on one call.
Yeah. Like I said, we're not calling rip-offs or nothing because, again, value is subject to the beholder. It really is.
But I am calling them is lazy.
Yeah.
They don't want to do the hard work to put it all on a cartridge. I call it laziness.
Project Red used compression techniques to get it down below 64 gigabytes to put it on one cartridge with no download.
You will be rewarded, CD Projekt. And like I said, Marvelous for me, Story of Seasons, you're going to have, and I'm sure Michelle will probably get a Daemon X Machina.
Right. I'm going to get that. That game looks awesome. So, yes, do that. Look and see which games are fully physical. If you want to get the game key cards, fine. But if not, just look for games that are fully on the cartridge. Reward those developers for doing that.
Yeah, because we're going to be honest with you folks. There are probably going to be some games Michelle and I have to get on the key cards.
Yeah, and I'm going to do a video talking about Sega with not only doing nothing but key cards, but also the fact they're going to make you, if you want the optimized version of Sonic X Shadow Generations, which again, the Switch 2 version is going to run like the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions, similar. You'll have to re-buy the game.
Yeah, the game that you have will not upgrade.
No.
It won't, and that's kind of sad.
I mean, if you want to make people pay $5 or $10, Sega, just do that.
No, you know what they should have done, Michelle? They should have done like Mario Party Jamboree TV. They should have done like Metroid Prime 4 and the Zelda Breath of the Wild thing, and added a $10 upgrade card.
That's what
that's what they should have done.
That's what I was saying.
Oh,
yeah, no, that's okay. I know some people are like, well, we have to pay for the upgrade. You know what? I would rather pay just a small charge. I think it personally, unless you're adding in new content. But I think an upgrade should be free myself. However, if I had a choice between a small upgrade or small price for an upgrade or re-buy the game, any day of the week I would take the small charge for the upgrade.
Yeah, because I tell you folks, Mario Party Jamboree TV, that 20 extra, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
Mario Party Jamboree is going to be really... TV is going to be something else.
Yeah. And we'll do a separate video on that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, let's get back to the cartridge thing.
Yeah.
You know, so people think, you know, like, don't you think that's bad that Nintendo did this? I have mixed feelings about it.
But see, don't blame Nintendo. They didn't want to do this. The Switch 2 is a third-party system.
Yeah.
They said, okay, we're making a system. You tell us what you want. And unfortunately, that's what they did. That's what they did.
In order to get more third parties, Nintendo gave them this option to do a key card, basically.
Yeah, because believe me, folks, I can tell you right now, we would not have Madden. We wouldn't have Madden.
Yeah.
We just wouldn't right now. There's a lot of other games, Elden Ring and all them, we just would not have one. We wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wanted those daggone key cards. Nintendo gave them to them. They wanted DLSS. They wanted VRR. They wanted all this stuff. Nintendo gave it to them.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the key card was part of the package too.
Because Nintendo themselves have said they're not going to use the key cards.
Yeah.
You're going to get the full game.
From them.
Right. And it seems like CD Projekt Red, you'll get the same thing, you know.
And Marvelous will give you... Just look at it this way, folks, if you have to. This is how the key cards work. Buy one, you put it into the system, you download the game, you have to have an online subscription, you do.
Yep.
But then after that, you can play it, but you still have to have the card in the system. So, it may not be... But look at it like it's a physical game in a way.
Yeah.
You're still putting a cartridge into the system and the game's being played, but only it's not really...
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you can sell it.
It's not bound to a Nintendo account.
Right. Do I think it sucks? Yeah, it does. But like I said, even when you get physical games on the PlayStation or Xbox, you have to download the large majority or all of it from the system.
Because Blu-ray, as much as I love Blu-ray, it's not an endless data where you can just get tons of... No. Even they have their limits.
Yeah, and these games, like I said, this is the price, unfortunately, we pay for having state-of-the-art graphics, frame rates, lighting, textures, everything. It is, you know? I mean, I wish that it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
But ever since video games started getting more advanced, like, I still remember when Super Metroid was the very first 24 megabyte cartridge, you know?
Or when Donkey Kong Country was the first Silicon graphics game. Or when Star Fox was the very first 3D polygonal game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And you know what, folks, to me, I will just say this. For me, I could give a crap less about the technology.
Yeah.
Because that's what the #1 handheld was back in the early 90s.
Game Boy.
The black and white, green chrome screen. Let's face it, folks, the graphics were pathetic.
Yeah.
They were. Then you had Game Gear, Atari, Lynx and stuff, color, beautiful graphics and everything, and the Game Boy stomped a hole in them.
Yeah.
It beat the limit, you know, and it just seems now that unfortunately people at a time have been so graphic warped that now they're getting back to the fun factory.
Yeah.
You know, or fun factory. Like I told Michelle, actually decades ago, the detailed graphic things was going to hit a wall.
Yeah.
I will just say this right now. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and the Switch 2 are as good as they're going to get. After that, it's just going to be a little bitty, and really it's not going to be worth it in my eyes. Just keep adding, how much more realistic can you be? I mean, I'm sorry. I think the stopping point is now. And now, people are focusing more on the fun factor. Hence, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Hence, Mario Kart World. Hence, Mario Jamboree TV. Totally brand new experiences of playing games. And that's what's going to sell the Switch 2.
The future of systems now is innovations with controls and other content. Before, the last couple of generations, it was graphics. But now I think with 4K and these new systems and stuff, they're so good looking.
Yeah.
They're beautiful, these games are. But see, the unfortunate thing is that it costs money. And it uses a lot of memory.
And let me tell you something. This is still not talking about the game cards. But just to prove something to you folks real quick, let's talk about 4K versus Blu-ray. What do you mean, Sean, when we talk about the detail and stuff? Terminator on 4K, more powerful format, sucks.
Yeah.
Batman, 4K versus Blu-ray. On the Blu-ray version is great. The 4K version, the Joker is green instead of white. It sucks. Just because you have a more powerful system or whatever, something doesn't mean it's always going to be better.
Exactly. So it's how you use the technology.
Exactly.
Nintendo is using this new technology to make new innovative experiences.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to help the Switch 2. It's easily going to be the big seller of the 10th generation of any system from the 2020s.
The only thing that can hinder it, really, I mean, all the systems, to be honest with you, is tomorrow we turn on the news. Donald Trump has put a 250,000 million% tariff on China.
Or
whatever. I mean, really, that's going to be the only thing. Not just the Switch 2, but also anything electronic, really.
Yeah, let's just say it don't get that bad, and the Switch 2 stays at $450 and stuff. Yeah. It's gonna be a huge monster because of the games and the innovation.
Tell them, Michelle, worldwide, not just in Guam and then Guatemala and then countries all over the world. The Switch 2 pre-orders everywhere, even in the United States, are gone. They're sold out everywhere.
Well, it's also the demand for them. It's backed up, especially in Japan.
Nintendo thought, well, 7 million, we'll have enough for launch.
And I agree with Bloomberg. The Switch 2 is going to have the biggest entertainment launch ever. Like I said, reward CD Projekt Red and Marvelous for putting actual physical games, the whole thing, on cartridge.
And when it comes down to it, folks, y'all are just going to have to accept it. If you want your favorite game, you're just going to have to buy it on a key card. And
that doesn't make it okay. No. It's just a sad reality.
Like I said, think of it as kind of a way you'll have a physical copy.
Yeah.
Not really, but if it'll make you ease your mind any better, just look at it like it'll be a physical copy.
And get more storage with your SSD
memory card.
Express memory card. Right. Those will come down in price someday, not as much as what the regular SD cards did, but say they'll come down by like 25-30%. We're going to try to get a 512 gigabyte, and you can archive your games. Means they're not deleted.
Right.
But they're archived, and that will free up memory.
Because let's face it, folks, a lot of you people, when you shopped for Nintendo, you were used to, say, shopping at Big Lots or the Dollar General. Now, Switch 2, you're going to be shopping at Bloomingdale's.
Yeah.
And you don't walk into Bloomingdale's. Where's the $2 section at?
Yeah.
Sorry, you're going to have to pay for great quality.
That sucks. That's all you can do, actually, unfortunately. Just reward the companies that give you the full game. That's what I can say.
Yep.
Try to teach the companies a lesson. Like, hey, if you put the whole game on there, we will buy it.
That's why Cyberpunk 2077 is the most pre-ordered game right now. Not the key card games, the ones that are on the physical cartridge.
Yeah, the Cyberpunk 2077 on the Switch 2 is doing fantastic in the pre-orders. And that's why it's the full game on one cartridge. Buy it. I wholeheartedly think you all should buy it. Of course, make sure that it's optimized good and, which according to people who have played the demo and stuff, that it has been optimized very well. Well, that's good, because if it really is, then it's going to be something else.
Real quick, folks. If you're like, I don't know about the Switch 2. I don't know about the Switch 2. Demos are up.
Yeah.
The demos are up. Go try it. See if the system's for you. Say, you know what? This is worth $450. Card is worth $80. You know, don't listen to these stupid YouTube losers.
Yeah.
Don't listen to them. Try it for yourself.
They have, basically, a lot of these people have a business to run. So they're going to live off rage bait and clickbait to get as many views as they possibly can. Do we want more subscribers and views? Yes. But are we going to get it at the cost of integrity? No.
No, never.
Yeah, we're not going to do any more like, look, what Sony and them price their system at from now on, it's going to be up to you whether you want it or not. If you don't think it's worth the money, then don't buy it. That's all I'm going to say.
And don't create your own CNN 24-hour news network to whine about it.
And like I said, though, if you want, though, physical games, buy the ones that are physical. Reward the companies that put the whole game on one cartridge.
And I hate to say this, I really do, but I'm going to be blunt. If, let's just say, Pac-Man versus Mega Man, you know, and it's the ultimate game out there, it's just like 5 billion levels and everything. If it's on a game card, and you're the biggest Pac-Man fan in the world, just, I hate to say this, but suck it up and buy it if you really want it that bad.
Yeah, I hate this, I do.
But they listened, they told the third parties this was their system.
Yeah.
And that's what they wanted.
For better or worse. This is me, Michelle and Tackett.
And this is Sean.
Have a good one, folks. Thank you for staying to the end of the video and watching it. If you like all of our videos, don't you join our other social medias like TikTok, Discord, Reddit, Instagram, Thread, X, and our WordPress blog. You can also support us by joining Patreon for as little as $1 a month, where you will get exclusive content, uncut videos, behind the scenes, watch that trailer, Jack's joke of the week, and my sports input. If you join the $25 tier, I will send you an autographed copy of The Buzzies for free. If you love horror movies and independent content, we're a great place to come and visit because we love supporting other independent creators and stuff. When you support us, you're supporting people who do all of this by ourselves. Me, Michelle, I'm the editor, I'm the director of the videos, I'm the producer, Sean's the executive producer and content creator. So thank you everybody, and please look into supporting our Patreon, as it really does help out. Just $1 a month. Thank you and have a wonderful day.